Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another division prediction. My name is Two-Pad Stack, and today we will be doing the final division prediction for the upcoming season. We will be doing the Eastern Division today, or the Division of Death. Because there's going to be some pretty good teams in this division that just don't make it because almost every team in this division, aside from the bottom two, I can see making the playoffs. But even number seven, maybe. But yeah. So let's get started. So first off, at number 8, we have the Devils. You know, I don't think they'll this. I think every team in this division, at least the bottom teams, have improved from last year. Except for one of them. But I think the Devils are a better team than they were last year. Jack Hughes is going to be making another step forward. So will Nico Hischier. Mackenzie Blackwood is still a very, very young goaltender. But they just don't really have a lot of that scoring depth. And their defense last year was awful. Their defense last year was awful. And they haven't really done much to improve it. So I have New Jersey at number 8 because I don't really see them doing much other than being a punching bag for the rest of this division. And then at number 7, I'm sorry, but I gotta put Buffalo there. Buffalo is so unproven. I know that they still have Eichel. They added Taylor Hall and they added Eric Stahl, but will it be enough? Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs in the entire time I've been watching hockey. It's been like 10 years. So, is Ristolainen gonna finally get traded after the end of the season? Because there's probably been trade rumors for him for like 3 years. Dahlin, is this gonna be his huge, huge breakout year? Maybe. I think Linus Ullmark is still a very good goalie, but they need a backup. And Dylan Cousins. The World Juniors just happened, and Dylan Cousins was Canada's best player. So will he come into the lineup, and will he be a force right out of the gate? I think Buffalo could be more competitive than they've been in the past, but I think their real test is going to be next season and not this one, which could be a problem because Taylor Hall wants to succeed. So this could be Buffalo's one chance with Taylor Hall. Next up, at number 6, we have the Penguins. This was kind of a tough one because I don't see a lot of depth outside of Crosby and Malkin, and they had to kind of reinvent their blue line a little bit in the offseason. And Crosby and Malkin really aren't that young anymore, so I think they're going to take another step back this season. And just when you thought that they had escaped when they got rid of Jack Johnson, they went up to Toronto and they said, "Can we please have Cody Ceci?" That was a great move. Trading they traded their first overall, their 13th overall pick, who's Rodion Amirov, who looks pretty good. They traded him for Kasperi Kapanen. So, they still have Jari, who's young. They still have Marino. Another question is their goaltending. Jari's good, but is DeSmith finally going to stick in the NHL? So I just have Pittsburgh at 6th because there's so many questions on that team, but I can easily see them, proving me wrong and making the playoffs. Next up at number 5, number 4 and 5 were the hardest ranking that I had to do for the entire list. Number 5, I have the Rangers. The Rangers, they have exciting forwards. They have good goaltending. I think their biggest flaw is their defensive depth, but they look really good. They have Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, and then they have Lafreniere, and Capo Caco is definitely going to be better this year than he was last year. They have Strome, and on the blue line they have Trouba, and they have Fox, who had a great rookie season. I mean, he might have a sophomore slump, but I think he'll still have a good season. And then you got Shesterkin, and you got Georgiev in net. So it was just so tough. But the reason that I have the Rangers at number 5 is just Shesterkin really only played 11 games last season. Lafreniere has never played an NHL game. Capo Caco was better in the play-in, but at one point last season, he had the worst analytics in the entire league. So, the Rangers, I just have, it's because they're unproven. But at number 4, I had to go with the more proven team. And the Rangers are going to hate this. It's the Islanders. The Islanders have, in my eyes, one of the best coaches in the entire league. I mean, I was in person when I watched him accept a Jack Adams award with a hamburger in his hand, but, I'll put a picture of that on screen if I can find one. Barry Trotz is gonna, this team's gonna go as far as Barry Trotz can take them. And, they have such good goaltending, especially if Sorokin can come in and play like he's supposed to play. And then if Barzal, actually signs, but if he actually, if he takes that big step, they can really do well. Now they lost Devon Toews, which I know sucks, but he is a very good defensively minded defenseman. But their blue line is still stacked. They still have Pelican Pollock. So, what's not to like? So, I just have them at number 4 because I think that they're the more proven of the two New York teams. New York City teams, that is. Next up, at number 3, I have the Bruins. This could easily change. I have the Bruins here because, they were number 1 in the league last season, but, Bergeron's getting older. Marchand, he's ahead of schedule, and I think he's in training camp right now. And Pastrnak might be back by February 1st, supposedly. So, he's only missing about 3 or 2.5 weeks of the season. But, losing Chara is a big loss. I know that he's older, and I know that he didn't play every game last season, but that's a big loss. And that's not a pun, because I know he's 6'8" or 6'9" or something like that. But anyway, their blue line, it's going to be a bunch of younger players, with McAvoy leading them. So I have Boston number 3, but, Marchand and Bergeron are not the youngest players in the world. And Marchand's coming off of a major surgery, and Pastrnak will be coming off of a major surgery as well, so Boston could easily be taken 6th. Number 2, we have the Washington Capitals. I know Washington got a lot of flack because supposedly they weren't trying during the play-in, but they still have Ovechkin, they still have Backstrom, they still have Kuznetsov, and they still have Wilson and Vrana and Oshie. Those are some huge names. They still have a Norris contender on the blue line, and Samsonov proved last season that he is a starting goaltender in this league. I don't know how the loss of Holtby is going to affect them goaltending-wise, but they're a really, really good team. And if the whole thing about effort isn't true, then why were they in the top? I think they were 2nd in the league last season, so whatever. And at number 1, I have the Flyers. The Flyers are such a deep team, and I just think their big problem is their lack of defensive depth. Now that can be fixed if Shane Gostisbehere can come in and actually play like we know he can. But he's been a healthy scratch at times the past 2 seasons, so it's gonna be interesting. But they have probably the best young goaltender in the league in Carter Hart, and their top six looks really, really good with Giroux, Couturier, Voracek, Hayes, Konechny. And Konechny is still young. He could make another big step this year. So that's why affiliate number one. They're a team that's going to be hard to beat. Now, this division is going to be incredibly close. This division is going to finish incredibly closely. Uh, number 1 to number 6 are all really, really good teams. And I think Buffalo is just unproven. So those are my rankings for the Eastern Division. Tell me if you agree, if you disagree. Put in the comments what your rankings are. If you like this video, leave a like on it. Subscribe, and I will see you next time.